To go along with that, we're going to make a corn casserole. I've already measured out some of the things, and I'm going to read you off the corn casserole. It is 2 cups of corn. I think initially I put in 1 cup of corn, raw corn, and then 1 can of cream corn that you can buy anywhere. But I don't do that anymore, and I don't know why. Alright, 1 cup of sour cream, which of course we have here. And we're going to add that, because we're going to mix all this together in a very clumsy, haphazard manner. Doesn't make any difference how we mix it together. We want 2 cups of grated Jack cheese, Monterey Jack, 1/2 cup of butter. I already put that in. I melted it down a little bit and put it in. 1/2 cup of cornmeal. So here goes the cornmeal. See, I measured. Kind of rare of me. Teaspoon or a tablespoon of salt. I don't know which. Doesn't make too much difference. And green chilies, diced green chilies. Whole can of that. Don't get diced jalapeno chilies, or this will become unedible for you. You stir that around, and then you put it into a buttered container, and you cook it at 350 for an hour. And because this goes down south with the painter gals, we're not going to cook it. They are. So you're not going to see it come out, but let's face it, it's going to be wonderful, fabulous junk. You don't put black pepper in here because you've got a whole can of green chilies, which will do the job. I almost never cook anything without some black pepper in it, but here it is. Today's the day. And you just do the best you can to stir this stuff together. And again, who cares how that goes? It doesn't make any difference to anybody, as long as it more or less just goes together. On top of this, though, on one corner, I'm going to do a very strange mashed potato deal. Which is really going to be surprising for them, because we're going to use some cranberry mustard in the mashed potatoes. And on top of that, I've thrown in a couple parsnips too. So we're going to have mashed potato parsnip with some cranberry mustard. Now, there is a story about this. I was in France. I was at a fabulous remote spot in a little town called Trigance, which is in Provence. Almost rhymes, doesn't it? Anyway, Trigance has, of course, only one place to stay and only one restaurant, and both are stellar. I recommend you go there. So, this young pup who spends several months a year in the south of France with this hotel, with this restaurant, spends the rest of his year in South America. And he did this. He had, and I tried to get him to tell me where he bought it. He couldn't explain it to me. He said he only found it in one spot. He did the best he could and he failed. He had mustard that was mixed in with prunes. And I have done this myself. I've mixed prunes with mustard. I've done everything I can to try to emulate that. And then we found out that, sure enough, cranberry mustard is made by one of my favorite companies, Beaver. And we're going to mix this in with the mashed potatoes. Now, the thing about this is it's a piping thing. You're supposed to squirt out little teeny-weeny shapes. You're not supposed to have a spoonful of mashed potatoes with a bunch of mustard in it. But that's what we're going to give the girls, yeah. And then on top of that, we're going to make their next night's meal, which is a chicken marbella thing, which comes out of the silver palette, and it's wonderful as well. But one thing at a time. Alright, mashing potatoes, and a couple of parsnips in there too. Now, the most famous mashed potato maker in the world was a guy from Paris who ended up cooking for the MGM in Vegas, if you can imagine. He cooked his potatoes twice and he used little white potatoes. We're not doing either of those things. He put in an absolutely astonishing amount of butter. We are putting in quite a bit of butter. Now, we're putting in half and half. Any kind of milk would do it too. You just want to thin it down a little bit. Some people believe that you need to have very warm milk or half and half or cream. I don't. No, it doesn't make any difference. Alright, now we're just going to put in some pepper, of course. Potatoes need pepper. They love pepper. And some salt. You want to be a little careful. You don't want to put too much salt in. You want to put a lot, but not too much. That's kind of tough. Now we only have 2 parsnips and 2 medium-sized Idaho potatoes, so we're not doing much here. There's not much going on. So we're putting in our magical. Oh, look at this. Does this annoy anyone besides me? They always put these little white things in on everything we eat now. To make it more ridiculous, so does white glue. It's like, you know, it's like your children will just normally, of course, want to open it up and swallow white glue. What would be wrong with your parenting skills if that was the case with your child? So anyway, so we're going to squeeze some of this in here after we take the little plasticated white thing that is meaningless away. God, that's irritating. So we're putting in some augmented mustard. Again, the fellow in Krogstad, who spent his winters in Argentina, told me prune mustard is the thing I should find, but I can't find it anywhere. Maybe you'll do better. I've given myself a little bit of space. Here's my piping thing. We don't have to use this, but this is kind of cute and clever. Giving myself some space in here with the corn casserole. And oh dear, yeah, well, you need to be smarter about this than me, but we do want a blob of it down there, and there, look, we've got it. But the festive look of it all, oh man, practice this. Oh yeah, no, this is a failure.